Hey, what's going on, everybody? And I hope you guys are having a fantastic day today. Today, we are going to be going over the Tomb Easter egg guide for Black Ops 6 Zombies. So, if you guys are new here, consider hitting that subscribe button. If you guys would also hit that like button, or even hit that dislike button. Either way, it helps me find a place in the algorithm. Without further ado, let's hop into it. So, first things first is going to be our loadout. I highly recommend using this XMG. It is very good, especially for doing a lot of damage. It has with the extended mag 2, it can hold up to 400 bullets when pack punch, which is amazing for this boss, because in this boss fight, you are going to need to be outputting a lot of damage at once. So this is the class I went with. Feel free to pause the video and look, but then let's move into the next thing. Okay, next on the list is Gobblegums. So obviously, I do not personally like using Gobblegums, especially doing Easter eggs for the first time, but unfortunately, I spent over 14 hours just trying to get this Easter egg done and kept dying at the boss fight. So keep in mind, this boss fight is very difficult and very intense. So what I highly recommend that you bring is one Idle Eyes if you are playing solo. Even if you're playing with people, Idle Eyes will help you greatly for this boss fight if you guys all know and are coordinated on where you need to shoot. Now let's talk augments. Specifically, I'm talking for PhD, because in the boss fight, that can be insanely helpful for getting around. So you're going to want PhD Slider, which allows you to slide, and then you are also going to want the thing that makes it so that you slide a lot farther and a lot longer. Next augment I recommend is for Aether Shroud. You're either going to want the augment that makes it so that you have extended period for your Aether Shroud, or you're going to want the augment that allows you to have 2 charges for Aether Shroud. In the boss fight, this can be detrimental for staying alive. Alright, so now we can actually start getting into Easter egg steps. So, the first step that you are going to want to do is open up all the way to the back of the map where that orange ping is, and then there's going to be this little ritual table here, which you can hold your interact button on, and then it will open a gateway into the unknown / this map version of the crazy place. The next step is to acquire the monocle, and to get the monocle, there is going to be a shock mimic that spawns on round 8. You will be able to tell because on the side of your screens, it will start to look staticky, and then he will start running at you. So when you kill him, he will then drop the monocle, and then you can move on to the next step. The next step is to start acquiring the pieces of the ice staff. So right here, there is a lantern on the wall with no lit flame in it, but over here, there is a lit flame. So you're going to shoot this one, and basically it is going to cycle around the room. You need it to be in that original spot that I pinged. All you need to do is in that specific room, keep shooting it, and it will slowly rotate through the different options until it is in the right one, and you will know it is in the right one when this wall right here is lit up. Now you have to shoot these symbols in a specific order. This one being the first one, this one being the second one, this one being the third one, this one being the fourth one, this one being the fifth one, this one being the sixth one, this one being the seventh one, and this last one being the eighth one. Now, after you do this, it is going to start a mini lockdown. And basically what's going to happen is one player at least has to sit in this room where you are going to be summoning zombies and then killing them. It has a couple of phases to go through, but once all the phases are done with, you are then going to be rewarded with your ice staff piece.
I owe you. Thank you, buddy.
Max ammo.
Now we're going to go ahead and get our other staff part, which by getting the light in this room with this crafting bench, which as you can see here is another puzzle wall. So we'll do it again with number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6. Oh, my friend will take that zombie right there. Number 7, number 8, number 9, and then number 10. And then it is going to start another lockdown or another staff piece. Now, after you've completed this part, you can then run up, grab the second piece to the staff, and then once you are ready, you can make your way into the crazy place to actually craft the staff. Now, before you actually attempt to craft the staff, I highly recommend that you guys have Pack-a-Punch Tier 2 weapons at the minimum. Also, preferably purple. They can be blue, but purple will also be better. So, if you guys need extra salvage, you guys can run around the map and actually look for these little spores that you can shoot. They are all over the place, and you can get salvage that way, or you can look for crystals. Once you are actually ready to craft the staff, though, you're going to go up to this little circle and hold your interact button up there, and then it is going to start a lockdown where you need to defend the staff from damage. And after you've actually done that and defended the staff for a long enough time, after killing enough zombies, you will be rewarded with the ice staff.
Things are looking up.
Now, after you've acquired the ice staff, the next step is to actually upgrade the ice staff. So, to upgrade the ice staff, what you're going to need to do is find 3 lit candles within close range of each other. These can be any of the candles as long as you think you're fast enough. So, for example, right here, there is a candle right above me, right here, that I'm actually going to be using. So, I'm going to shoot it, and then quickly I'm going to run to the other candles, and you basically have to shoot 3 of these candles within 10 seconds, which seems daunting, but the ice staff does have some really long range, so be sure to use that to your advantage. If you failed this step, you'll see Sir Archibald won't say anything, but since I did it, he did say something, and he said a quote, so that means I am good to go to the next part. So after you've shot your flames, the next thing that you need to do is look into the sky in the crazy place, and there are going to be 3 runes that are located on these rocks. Once you actually shoot the rune, the rock is then going to lower itself down, where I then recommend that you take a picture of the rune, as you are going to need to know this for later. You can also draw them down somewhere, but I recommend taking a picture to make it easier. Now, after you've shot all 3 of these, what's going to happen is one of the doorways to the crazy place is actually going to be shut. So what you can do is run around the room, and then you can look for the shut door on the inside, and then you want to go to the outside world and look at that doorway from there. So for example, for us, it was actually the red doorway. So what I would do is make my way toward the red doorway, and then basically you would see these runes here on the door. So what you're now going to do is you're now going to look at those 3 pictures that you took of those runes and try to translate those to this door. So for example, I saw this rune right here, so I'm going to shoot this rune, and now that is one of the runes of the 3 that I saw on the rocks. This is now the second one, and then the final one is actually going to be this one. Now, if you guys mess up, don't panic. All you have to do is recycle the round, and you'll know when you messed up, because if I go through this doorway right here, I should be on top of a floating rock. Now, if I am not on top of a floating rock and I just fall for a little bit and take a little bit of fall damage, then that means that I did not put in the right runes. But as you can see here, as I go through the portal, I do land right on top of this rock next to this purple orb, so I did it correctly. Now, you are going to interact with this orb, and what is going to happen is it is going to now start a little, almost like a lockdown phase, where you need to follow this orb, and you need to kill zombies to defeat it. If you guys fail, it'll basically look like a nuke went off, your screen will flash white, and then it will be cancelled, and then you will have to shoot the runes all over again from the doorways. So, just keep in mind that you need to keep beating this. As you can see, I actually failed here, but that's okay, because we can keep going. So basically what you want to do is just go back to the door, shoot your runes again, and then go back through the portal, and then there you go. Although keep in mind the door can change, so it might not be the red door again, it might be the yellow door, the green door, or the blue door. Another very important thing to think about for this phase, because I have failed this Easter egg multiple times, although this was not the reason why. However, in doing the Easter egg so many times, I did learn that if you guys are doing this and it flips into a parasite round, it will instantly cancel the event no matter what. So parasite rounds are a no-go for this step. Now, once the ball has made its way all the way back up to here, into this little circle right here, you can then walk up to it with your ice staff, hold your interact button, and then you will receive the upgraded ice staff. So basically what you want to do next is you want to hit left on your D-pad, and it is going to pull out the healing ability of the staff. So once you do this, you are going to shoot this little vermin statue right here, and then what's going to happen is the crystal is going to glow. Hold the interact button to pick up that crystal, and then once you do, you can then go back to the spawn area, which is through the blue door. I actually ran all the way around, but once you have actually made it back to the spawn area, there is going to be a vermin statue there, and then you are going to be able to interact with it, which is then going to start a little event, which is then going to spawn a ton of vermin. All you have to do is kill a ton of vermin, which with the ice staff ability is very easy. You're going to kill all the vermin, and then what's going to happen is that crystal is going to start glowing. Pick the crystal up, you can then bring it back to the main area, although be careful, you cannot go through the portal closest to you to actually get back, so you're going to have to run, and you cannot get hit by too many zombies. So after you bring it back, you are then good to start the next one.
Did it hurt? I hope so.
Bonus points.
Now, after you've actually brought that one back, you can now start the next one, which is going to be this parasite one right here. Just shoot it with the other end of the staff, pick it up, and then you can then go through the yellow door, which is then going to lead you to where you need to go. So once you are in here, there's going to be a parasite statue now. And what you have to do with this one is basically there are going to be purple parasites that spawn, and when you kill those parasites, it is going to drop a little purple orb. What you're then going to do is pick that orb up by walking over it, and then walking it to this statue right here, where it is then going to be absorbed. You're then going to keep doing this until it is done. Then you're going to rinse and repeat, pick up the crystal once it is done, bring it back to the main area again, putting it back on the statue where you originally picked up the crystal, and then you are going to be good to start the next one. Now, the next crystal you're actually going to go shoot is going to be a Doppelgas crystal, which is going to be right here. You're going to shoot it, pick it up, and then you are going to make your way through the green portal. And this one is fairly simple. All you have to do is kill Doppelgas that spawn within a time limit. Just keep killing them, and then what's going to happen is you can then go pick up the crystal, and then rinse and repeat, bring it back to the crazy place, put it on the statue where you originally picked it up, and then we can move on to the final statue. Now, for this final statue, what you're going to want to do is, once again, shoot it with the healing beam of the staff. Then you are going to want to make your way toward the red portal. Now, once you get down here, it's going to be in a little Coliseum-like arena down here. And what you're going to want to do is you are going to want to kill the Abomination as fast as possible. While damaging him, what's going to happen is he's going to slowly start spawning armored zombies. And basically, as long as an armored zombie is alive, he is going to gain immunity with a little piece of armor. So basically, you can tell by which one is attached to him by this beam that is going to be attached. So all you got to do is kill him as fast as possible, kill those armored zombies that get attached to him, and then continue to shred him. It's easy. Then, once he's been killed, pick up the crystal in the middle, bring it back to the middle of the crazy place once again to place it in its respective statue, and then we can move on to the next step. Now, after you put this final piece onto this pedestal, what's going to happen is you are going to see all the beams up top start beaming into this giant crystal, and then this giant crystal is then going to shoot a beam at the main door, which will lead to the boss fight arena. All you have to do is walk up to it and hold your interact button on this little pedestal, and then what's going to happen is you can then go down to actually interact with the boss fight. Now, before you do this, I highly recommend that you have Pack-a-Punch 3 weapons. Also, gold, this is also good to note that during this boss fight, there is going to be a boss where the staff is not going to be effective against the actual main boss, but it will be good for add-ons. So keep in mind that. Same thing with ray gun and our trusty dual-wheel pistols. Explosives do nothing to this boss again, so again, be very careful when going into this boss fight. However, there are technically a couple things we can do to further prepare ourselves for this boss fight, which one of these things is going to be going to round 25 so that Der Wunderfizz will spawn in this little crazy area here, and there is something else also, which is going to be golden armor plates. However, I need to keep this I'm going to be very blunt about this. This is a very hard step to do. This is a side Easter egg. This is not required to do the main boss fight, so if you guys want to do it without golden armor plates, go for it, but I will tell you, I highly, strongly am against this, because the golden armor plates are very good, especially for regenning armor without needing to actually place armor in, but also it is just going to be a massive help overall. So if you guys are feeling ready to try to get golden armor plates, what you can do is come up here by the Juggernog machine right up here, and then there's going to be this wooden box, and then you are going to punch this box until it breaks. You do not need Melee Macchiato. A lot of people are saying you need it. I have done it without it. You do not need Melee Macchiato, but that is where the first head is, and then the second one is going to be all the way over here near the Der Wunderfizz, which is going to be right over here alongside this wall under this little plant right here, and then you are going to also melee this box, and then you are going to pick up the head out of it. So what you are going to want to do is you are going to go back to the spawn room where there are going to be two giant statues without heads. You are going to hold the interact button at the base of the statue from the front of it, and it is going to put a head on the statue. So you're going to do this for both statues. Now, once you've done this, this is where it gets very tricky. So you are going to be able to interact with the statue, which is then going to allow you to do the blood ritual. The blood ritual is going to put your health at 1, but if you hold to put the blood ritual to do it and then hit down on the D-pad at the exact same time, you are then going to be put into a chopper gunner, where you are then going to be able to beam some of the hostile enemies, which they are going to be 3 elite zombies. Now, these 3 elite zombies are hard to find, but when you do find them, it will be very obvious. They have ridiculous amounts of health, and I cannot stress this enough. They have insane amounts of health, like health you've never seen before on before. So just keep in mind that if you guys are doing this, that it is also going to, if you use the chopper gunner, it also, I believe, goes off of the rarity of your weapon. So keep that in mind. As you can see, even with the chopper gunner trick, I did not fully kill them. So you are basically going to just keep running around the arena and running. So your health does not matter. It is actually your armor that matters. So what I recommend is go into this with some points. So if you guys do get hit and lose enough armor, you can just run by that little armor by on the wall and just pay for more armor. Just keep this in mind. It is also very good to know that you can use your mini-map for this. This is very important to do because your mini-map is going to be your lifeline. It's going to show you exactly how far they are away from you, and it's also going to show you what the arena looks like. But as you can see, that was one of the blood rituals done. Or no, that was one of them. The other one is actually going to be mimics, but once you've done both of those, this is going to happen up here, and then it is going to project this little golden armor plate onto the wall. Now, once you go up and actually hold the interact button, you will then get golden armor plates for free. Another good strat for this is if one of your players runs laps down here while the other one is in a chopper gunner, so you know guaranteed where those 3 elites are actually going to be going for. So once you've actually done all this, you are now ready to start the boss fight. So once you've actually walked over the bridge and then hold your button to interact with the actual artifact to start the final encounter, you are going to watch out for the statues. So basically, you cannot damage the Sentinel artifact outright. You can't. Basically, it's a chunk system, much like the Legion boss fight in Black Ops Cold War, if you guys remember that. So you need to hit a certain amount of damage, and then it's going to drop the boss's health by 10%. But if you cannot hit that right amount of damage, you are going to be doing nothing to this boss. It is also very important to note that these lasers do damage you, they do not damage zombies, and when they hit you, they will also stun you, which is very important. They do a lot of damage, and they are overall very hard to deal with. So what you are going to do is you are going to sit for the first 4 phases, where you are going to sit behind one of these little pillars here and just use your ice staff to just freeze all the zombies, since only zombies are going to be the things that are spawning for now. Now, after the laser has actually done enough rotations and has locked onto a statue, it's going to glow purple, where you can now damage it. You're then going to keep shooting at it until you see it chunk like that and its health is taken away, and now it is going to split into 2 of them. So now there are going to be double the lasers going out. So basically, what I highly recommend doing is, once you are into the higher phase of this, again, it's not really that difficult right now. It won't be difficult until they spawn special elite zombies, but for now, it is actually not that difficult. Just hide behind the pillars, same as before, and just keep doing this same method. So I believe the order is, it is going to go Parasite, then it is, or no, not Parasite. It's going to start with the Vermin statue it's going to lock onto. Then when there are 2 of them, it is then going to lock onto the Parasite and the Vermin statue. So if you are lucky and fast enough, you will be able to break 2 in one go. But then for the next phase, if you do break 2, it is then going to lock onto all of the statues. So when it locks onto all of the statues, I highly recommend that you shoot out the Amalgam statue, the one that's targeting that one first, because if it reaches the Amalgam statue, it will then start spawning Amalgams, which we do not want that. Now, as you can see right here, after you've broken the 4th Sentinel artifact, the rest will become immune, which is why I say you should target the Amalgam statue first. Then you can go down and grab your max ammo. Now, what you are going to need to be careful of, you will see it land on a pedestal down here, which is then going to spawn an elite type of zombie. Now, these zombies are insanely dangerous. There is no, I can't even describe how dangerous these are. I've never seen zombies this strong. So what's going to happen is, he has a lot of HP. That's not the hard part. If he touches you, he is going to be able to 2-tap you and also stun you. So you want to kill him, and then he is going to drop a Sentinel artifact, which is then going to split into another one. Now, after you've done this, I highly recommend that once the boss zombies start spawning, you try doing rotations down underneath, down in this little area, because if you sit on top of these, the enemies have to actually jump up to you and then go down to the other side. So, for example, this Doppelgas right here, you need to jump up here to get me, which by the time you jump back down, you will not have enough time to actually swing it. So you need to be careful though, because if for whatever reason these guys swing at you, they are going to stun you, and they are most likely going to be down you. So what I highly recommend doing is running, this is why I said to run Aether Shroud. If for whatever reason you get hit or you get stunned, you start spamming your Aether Shroud button just to give you enough time to get away. Also, another good reason to have the PhD slider here is because you need mobility. Because again, if you get stunned by a laser by accident and then you get double hit by them, it will down you. Even if you have Jug, I mean, it doesn't matter. But you will take a massive amount of damage. If you don't have Jug during this, you can literally get one shot, even if you have 3 plates by these giant elite zombies. So just make sure that you are very careful and just make sure to play it safe. There's no rush here. More zombies are going to spawn, yes, but it's not like you can't keep running and shooting these giant tornadoes with your ice staff, which will then end up killing them anyway. So just, again, be very careful and play it safe. So after you've done enough damage to this and it splits again, it is now going to create another boss zombie, which is going to be a electric mimic. You need to be very careful here. For me, I actually decided to pop the Arsenal Accelerator just to make sure I would have extra, so that I would make sure I would have enough for Aether Shroud in case I was able to kill it quickly. So you need to be very careful, because once again, they will 2-shot you. This is no joke. You just have to be careful, play very safe, and just keep running in circles. Now, ammo can also become an issue during this boss fight. I actually ended up going down over trying to get ammo up here in the corner, clearly because I just got stun locked. I got stunned again, then hit by one of them, hit by another laser, and then just got flustered. So just be careful when buying ammo, know when the right time is to do it. So basically, again, I then said, screw it, if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna make a good stand, and I popped my Idolize a lot earlier than I expected. So I used the Idolize, I then beam this one right here, which is then going to spawn the final boss zombie, which is then going to be an Amalgam. So the Amalgams, again, very scary to deal with, but unlike the other ones, they are a lot slower, which is a lot better, so at least they are slower. So just take your time, again, especially on the Amalgam. The Amalgam is very scary, and all the other enemies that spawn are scary. But again, just take it slow. You do not need to rush it, especially with the Amalgam since he is so slow. So again, just try to keep your distance between everything and then slowly chunk it down. Now, after spending all that time just running in a circle and chunking it down, basically what's going to happen is you are then going to kill it, and then you are going to, just as the other one, you are going to beam that Sentinel artifact. Now, once you've actually beamed down this Sentinel artifact, I highly recommend that you try to get your Ether Shroud up to level 2. So if you can, obviously you can't, everyone can't have it fully charged and ready because again, this is a very hectic boss fight. Make sure to grab that max ammo just to have all the ammo you need. And if you can, try to kill any of the Amalgams that are left because they don't die in between rounds. You're going to hear tolling of bells, and then what's going to happen is all of the artifacts are going to beam into a single one, which is then going to be up here. So what I did is I shot down this little wave, and then I targeted it, and you have to kill this. If you do not do enough damage to this, as you can see its health is slowly dropping, but if you do not do enough damage to this, this will wipe you and your whole team. It will instantly guaranteed fail the Easter egg. So just make sure you beam into this, and then once you've actually beamed into all this, you are then good. After you've done this, you have successfully beaten this Easter egg. Again, this took me over 14 hours to do, whether it be with friends or with solo. Personally, I found it easier to do it solo than to do it with friends, only because in the ending, it is just very hectic. But that is it. So if you guys found this video helpful, please consider hitting the like button and the subscribe button. If not, hit the dislike button. All the same, it helps me find a place in the algorithm. But with that being said, I appreciate that you guys even stopped in. Now let's watch this cutscene.
Raptor 1, I'm at the LZ. Let's get the hell out of here.
There is more to be done now that you've secured the Sentinel artifact. Bring it directly to me. I have gathered every available file on the history and previous uses of this ancient device. It appears several times in the historical record. Some date back to ancient Egypt. I have deciphered steps to activate and control it. The artifact requires an infusion of exotic materials, unique elements that can only be harvested here at Liberty Falls. I have already ensured everything we need is ready for your arrival. You will see your lost agent Maxis again soon. I'll be waiting.
So that was the end of the Easter egg, and obviously at the end it will give you perk calling if you continue the match, or if you exit the match you will also be able to see your brand new calling card, which if you did this early before the direct mode comes out, you will actually get a special variant, which I will show on screen now. But as always, I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you guys did, please consider hitting that like button, that subscribe button. But with all that being said, I will see you guys in the next one. See ya!